I wanna be a billionaire. I ain't getting no sleep till I see $1 million every week. I wanna be a billionaire. I ain't getting no sleep till I see $1 billion every week. I wanna be a billionaire. Billionaire. I wanna be a billionaire.
Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of Sleep is for Billionaires, the podcast. I am your host, Johnny Vegas. Now today, we got a special guest on my show. This woman is a social media influencer, and she's been in the game for a minute. We're going to talk about her rise to fame and her plans to maintain. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Jenny BABAS.
Hi.
How you doing, lovely?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm glad you made it. We met at Jahan's party, and I knew who you were, and I knew you were doing your thing, and I immediately asked you, let's go do my show, and then you gave me the opportunity to do it, so
yeah.
Bless you for that.
Any friend of Jahan's is a friend of mine. So.
That's what's up. Shout out Jahan Jones. Yeah. We gotta get your punk ass on the show next.
Right?
So how you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Sleepy. I've been up editing until like 7 a.m.
So you edit your own skits?
I do, yeah.
Edit what else? You write them as well?
Write, edit. The only thing I don't edit is I have like a new web series. That's,
okay.
And it's more cinematic, and so because of that, I'm not too, the skit world is different from the
film.
The movie world, yeah. But I actually started in film.
Okay.
And I started when I was 14.
All
I
right.
did short film, independent film. But the transition it's kind of tricky because it's a whole different world,
right.
From internet to film. And people think like, oh, I'm an actor, so it goes hand in hand. But it really, there's a huge difference.
Right. Well, before we even get into that, I want to start from the beginning. Like, where are you from?
Oh, I was born in New Jersey.
Oh, really? Yeah, I used to live in Patterson.
Yeah?
Yeah, I went to high school there. I went to East Side.
Nice.
Are you familiar with that?
No.
Yeah, that's like, what is that again?
I was going to play it off.
It's all good now. You keep it real on this show, straight raw. So where in Jersey?
Newark.
Okay,
yeah.
201?
But I was only there until I was 10, and then I moved to Texas with my family.
Okay, what part of Texas?
Houston.
I got family there as well.
So I could tell you more about Houston than Jersey.
That's cool, okay.
Yeah. And then I came to Cali 2.5 years ago.
Oh, so you kind of fresh. You like me. I only been here 3 years in September.
Yeah, and I still can't figure out how to get everywhere.
Yeah, it's all good. All I know is US 101 South gets me home.
All I know is I kind of press a button on my GPS, and if that doesn't work, and I'm like 5 minutes from my home, I can't get there.
Oh my God!
I think it's an Asian thing.
The new generation, y'all have it so good. Y'all don't. We were just talking about that the other day. Like we would remember the maps, the paper maps, so you had to like follow and draw.
I don't understand how. Like, I couldn't open up a map and be like, what are these? What is it? What's going on?
I saw these lines. Like,
yeah.
busy.
There's no street names. Or there's street names.
Yeah, I mean there is, but but the thing is, sadly, you can't zoom in like you could on your phone.
Are there like coordinates?
Something like that. I know you got to pull out a magnifying glass and
drive
look at
49 degrees east.
Exactly, right. Put your finger and feel the wind. All right, it's going 30 miles west. We gotta go this way.
Do you know how to use a compass?
Somewhat, I'm like, straight is north to me. That's it.
No matter which way you're facing?
I guess, you know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel. But anyway, so during your time in Texas, were you acting as well? Like, what were you doing? You were just kind of going to school?
Yeah, well, I took theater in school, and then I started taking acting classes outside of that also.
How old were you at this time?
This was middle school, so I was probably like 12, 13.
Okay, so you had this dream from the beginning, like you wanted to be on TV.
What's funny is like when I was a kid, my mom was trying to get me to do it because she knew I was photogenic and I loved taking pictures, but I was so shy and I loved writing.
Okay.
And I would always write stories, I would write movies, but like I didn't know what I was in poetry. I didn't know what I was gonna do with that though. I was like, I'll just be an author, and my mom was like, why don't you try to act? Like, maybe one day you'll like it because you're so good in front of a camera. And I was like, I don't want to. I just want to write. And so she would actually, like, get me auditions. Like, she'd book me auditions, and she would drive me to New York.
You're like, hey, guess what? You got an audition today. Let's go.
But I was so shy. I didn't want to do it. So, like we'd have a Care Bear commercial and, like, Six Flags, these huge commercials. And when I get there, I'm just like... Like, I didn't want to be there. Like, they asked me to hug a Care Bear, and I was like, I didn't want to do it. And I was just so scared. And I was like, I hate this. I don't want to do it. And she tried for the longest, and then she just gave up. And then we moved to Texas, and then I discovered theater classes, and I was like, this is fun. And so I started taking classes outside of it. And then I started trying getting gigs, and it was so much harder. Like, I feel like the younger you are, the easier it is.
Really?
I think so.
But what type of opportunities for like commercial or film?
Commercials and film, yeah. But like, first of all, Houston's not even a good
Acting
it's not a great place to try to like further your acting career in. I mean, they have a lot of independent film, but a lot of it doesn't pay. Like, a lot of it is like zero budget.
That makes sense.
Where the crew doesn't get paid, the actors don't get paid. I mean, that wasn't my intention anyway, so I did it a lot just to learn. And I actually started behind the camera too. Not behind the camera, but like working crew. So I would UPM or at AD. And
PM?
Production manager.
Okay, no, it's just for my people. Not everybody knows the lingo. I know the lingo.
Production manager, assistant director. So I would do that at 16, and people were surprised, and they're like, who is this girl that's trying to organize our shoots? I don't understand what you're doing. They're like, no, she's smart. She knows what she's doing. And you know, everything was fine. I could act pretty much beyond my years until like an ice cream truck or something came by, and then I'm like, oh,
distraction, like cut.
Right.
Vanilla with sprinkles.
And they're like, this is why you don't hire 16-year-olds to run your production. Yeah. But then coming to LA, it's a whole different world. You know?
So what year did you leave Texas and come to LA? You said this was 2 years ago, right?
2.5 years ago. Oh, don't make me do the math.
Nah, so it was 2.5 years ago. So you already finished. So you already finished school. You graduated. You did all that, right?
You know, I was actually going to school for broadcast journalism.
Okay.
Because I didn't think, you know, a lot of people go to school like for film acting, and I'm like, you know, like, girl, you don't really gotta do it. Like, I don't think Will Smith went to college for it.
They end up working at McDonald's.
Yeah, but acting classes though, like I definitely recommend for anybody. You know, even like huge actors still take classes because there's no limit to how much you can learn and grow.
Absolutely. Gotta sharpen up the saw.
Yeah, exactly. But I took a pause on it because I was like, I want to go out to LA just for a couple months and just check it out. And
that's how you know you're new to the game. I'm gonna give it a couple of months.
Yeah, well,
This shit's a marathon.
No, I mean, I didn't expect everything to just work out for me, but I was like, you know, let me just see what it's like. Right. Pretty much. So I was like, yeah, you know, maybe 3 to 6 months, and then I just fell in love with it out here. Yeah. It's that in the room. I'm like, oh. Right, continue. Yeah, I fell in love with it. I mean, you know, it's very different. It's very expensive out here for sure, but it's such a different lifestyle. There's so many people that are just such hard workers. They're passionate, they're driven, and it's hard to find people with so much ambition. And it's nice to have that energy around you.
No, I agree, man. When I used to live in Tampa, Florida, you know, shout out to Tampa. You know, it's a lot of creators out there, but at the same time, it's like the environment can make you discouraged because it's not a big how can I say lifestyle when it comes to entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't survive off it unless you're like a big name. You know, so when you're on the come up, it's more on the side because you still gotta have that 9 to 5 to really survive. So with that being said, you know, when you're kind of like dreaming so big and you don't really have that support around you because everybody's living in real life. So you know, I had to get out that environment to really come to a field where everybody's a dreamer, everybody's in the game, and everybody's surviving off of it. Right. So, you know, it's more realistic that dreams can happen out here. So I feel you on that.
It's nice when everyone has the same goals because you can work together to achieve them, you know.
Exactly. And people don't mind working together here also for that goal,
they love
which is
it.
crazy.
Yeah, everyone helps each other here.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that was mind-blowing to me. I was like, damn, like, even like big names like helped me, you know, along the way. And I was like, whoa, like, I didn't expect that.
You know what else I love is like so many people here, since they're all doing the same thing, no one has a 9 to 5. Everyone just has like something flexible. Like they're either like bartending or they're Ubering, Postmates, whatever, something to where their schedule is completely like movable. That's not
no, it's flexible. Yeah, it's movable. I can move this and do this.
And so anytime anyone needs to shoot anything, like you can hit people up last minute for stuff, and it's like everyone pretty much has your back, like any time of day, you know. And as opposed to like in Texas, it was so hard to get people to be in a shoot or, you know, or not work a day.
Yeah.
But here it's like everyone just has so much time.
Yeah, and I think it's very motivational just being here, being that this is the mecca of like the film industry. It's so much more possible for things to happen for you in that field. Whereas in Texas or maybe Tampa, it's so far fetched that you're like, you know, I'll do it whenever. You know, it'd be like that sometimes, but. Okay, so you're in LA. So tell me, was there any trials and tribulations first getting in, like kind of getting the feel, getting to meet people to actually come together and work, or was it like you just meet people and you just started working?
Well, what was difficult for me is everyone here does social media. It's like huge, and in Texas I didn't do that. Like me and my friends just didn't like. We would use Facebook, but we would just post about our lives, like our personal lives, and never use that towards an actual career. And so all I did back there was film commercials, which that's good, but here apparently social media is so big. And I didn't think about that. Like people would be like, "What's your Instagram?" I'm like, "I don't have Instagram." And they're like, "You don't have Instagram?"
Where are you
and
from?
I'm like, "What?" I don't And so my friends convinced me to get one, so I got it. And then I would go to mixers and events where all these influencers are. They're like, "Yeah, let me get your Instagram." And I would have like 5 followers, and they're like
2 photos,
and and out here that's not okay apparently. Like I don't mind, like I don't judge someone by how many followers they have, but everyone else is like, oh, like girls. Oh my gosh,
we're in this new day.
I didn't know what a cloud chaser was until I got here. Like these girls, they're like, oh, I don't even know if I want to be in his video or her video because she doesn't have any followers. And I don't F's with anyone that has followers. I don't know if I can curse.
No, you could just keep it. But it's like, I understand that to a certain point, because it's like if you care enough about your brand to attach yourself with someone who may have a significant number of followers that can help you versus someone who has maybe 5 followers and you already yourself have 20K. There's no, you're helping them more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, especially if you're doing them a favor, then it's like, all right.
Yeah, true.
So, I understand that part.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I look at talent, not really at numbers, and I look at quality. And
that's because you're from where you're from. You came from more humble beginnings, just like me. Yeah. But it's like, if you just started from here, then you're looking at those numbers and clout, because it's like, ultimately, you want the big stuff, the big people around.
Yeah.
Continue.
And anyone that asks me to collab, the first thing I do is I look at their page and I look at their stuff, if it's and not even necessarily quality, but just like I said before, talent. Like if someone's doing comedy skits and they're not funny, I'm not gonna work. Like, oh my god,
you gotta pay me triple.
I'm like, why are you doing comedy? I didn't even think, all I do now, well, not all I do, but majority of my content is comedy. And that's crazy because in Texas, I hated it. Like, anytime I'd act in classes, I would, pray. My teacher would give me a dramatic monologue because I love drama and horror. Those are my 2 favorite things to act.
That's like my favorite movies to watch.
Yeah.
Actually, we just went to go see that scary movie that's it's part of the Conjuring series. Annabelle Comes Home. That was pretty good.
I only saw the first one.
It was good.
I liked the first one, actually.
It was cool. I liked it. I like that suspenseful thriller.
Yeah, I know. I love scary and I love watching comedy, but I never liked acting it because I just felt like I wasn't funny.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny. The ones who don't think they're funny are funny, and the ones who think they're funny aren't funny.
It's not funny.
A little bit. Make me smile a little bit.
Yeah. So in acting class, I didn't want to get comedy, and then my teacher would give me one. I'm like, can I not, this is my weakness. He was like, oh good, thanks for telling me. I'm gonna give you comedy all the time because they want you to work on your weaknesses. They're not gonna keep giving you your strengths and, and just kick your weakness.
They want to challenge you,
yeah. And then coming out here, I saw everyone was doing the comedy thing, and people were like, all the girls that are on social media are doing all the modelly stuff. They're all posing all the the butt pics and all that stuff, and that gets some followers, but that's not really my thing. And so they're like, well, since you're a cute girl, why don't you combine cuteness with your comedy? Because guys will like funny and sexy together. Like, they say it's a good combination.
Right.
And I was like, I'm not funny. I can't do it. They're like, just try. And they were trying to convince me for, I think, a good almost a year of me being here.
Jesus Christ.
To do it. And then I finally just tried one. And then once I did one of my own, I was hooked because it's so much easier to shoot than a film, because anytime I would write scripts, they're short films. So it's a 20-minute long thing, and then you have to get your whole production. It's it's so much more difficult. Whereas a skit is like, I still have this idea that I want to put out there, and I could write it real quick, shoot it real quick, post it, have it up there. Like, it's so much easier, and it's like, it's addicting because, you know, I think there's nothing more beautiful than having an image of what you want, like what you see in your head, and then just seeing it come to life. It's like you have just a dream in your mind, and then you're just seeing it on screen.
Yeah, and then seeing people appreciating it
Yes.
afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So that's even more amazing.
Yeah.
So tell me, what was the skit that you put out that, you know, kind of like flourished for you, that you saw and it was like the response was like, oh shit.
Oh,
like,
my short girl stuff. I'm 4'10", by the way, and
Okay.
being so tiny used to be my biggest
you
insecurity.
can't tell because she's sitting on a pillow.
Like, swear, big. Yeah, like, it was my biggest insecurity was my height, and I felt like if I wore heels everywhere, I would feel better about myself, but, you know, that doesn't really do anything. It's something that I learned to just kind of, accept what you can't change, and, you know, like, try to make it your strength. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I don't know what word I was looking for.
Nah, that's all good. It look like you about to catch a stroke.
Because I'm a grammar Nazi, so I feel like I have to get my words correct.
No, I completely understand.
So I just started kind of making fun of my height before other people could, and people loved it. So I like to crack the jokes before they can, and then I started making videos out of it, and I think the first video I even made was short girls dating tall guys, and the actor I used was 6'7", and it just showed all the complications of that. And
just
then
those numbers, 4, 5, 6, 7, like,
yeah.
Oh man.
4, 5, 4,
also 4, 10. Sorry.
He took some inches away. Wow.
Either way.
Yeah, but people love that because a lot of people, apparently there's a lot of other short people that can relate, and
Right.
I didn't know because I don't see them.
Yeah.
I don't have short
They're
friends.
around. You just can't see them.
I make short
No
people
disrespect.
feel tall.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got that joke.
That's what I said. No disrespect. I had to put that disclaimer right there.
I'm late.
It's all good, but that's what's up. So when it popped off for you, like, was it the numbers just kind of increased and then the following just grew from there?
Yeah, pretty much. But honestly, though, I get more followers from collabing with people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So who are some of the people that you collab with? We know Jahan.
Yeah, I know. That was the first one I was gonna name. But honestly, it's not even like just the collabs. But if I collab with someone and it ends up on World Stars repost that gain the followers. Yeah.
So how does that part work? So you just like you pay to put on World Star, or you just submit and they pick it?
No. They just choose whatever they want, just repost it.
Okay.
Yeah, so they reposted one of mine, but I didn't have enough followers for them to notice that. So like it was actually with Jahan. I feel like I'm bringing him up way too much in this conversation.
Yeah, you gotta get Jahan on the show.
I posted.
Bring him to fruition. See, speaking into existence, brother.
I made a skit with him, and it was one that I wrote, and then I directed it, and I posted it, and it got a good amount of traction. But when he reposted it, World Star reposted it. And then that's pretty much how
Oh,
it
okay.
works.
Well, that's good. You know what I'm saying? Just having that connection with him kind of facilitated the deal. You mean he probably had his own connection with World Star that facilitated that deal for and it worked out to your benefit.
Yeah.
So that's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Okay. Now, because some people usually either pay World Star or they self-submit to World Star and kind of hope and pray they see it, or they just tag World Star a bunch of times, and it's like it's a long shot doing it that way.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay for that. And
some people do, like artists I know. Oh my God, they stop in the bank for real with that World Star. But they call it's for promotional use only because I guess World Star has a lot of traffic, so more people will see their video. But hey, you can't knock the hustle. People paying it.
Right? Yeah. No. I would get offended like back in the day when people would be like, "Oh, do you buy your followers?" Like it's not like I don't even have like hella, but like even if I didn't, like I wouldn't pay anyone to, or I don't know how that works. But they're like, "Oh, I bet you buy your followers," and I'm like, "Why? Like I don't understand the purpose of that."
I agree. I, in the beginning, I was like, it seemed like a good idea, but then in hindsight, it's like, okay, you buying all these followers, but then your picture only got 15 likes.
Right.
So then it's like there's no real engagement, and that's what you want, that connection with your fans.
No, that's what I love is like real love, Like I have fans that are like really down, like they're really dedicated fans, and like you can't buy those. You can't you know?
Right.
Those people aren't gonna know who you are. And like, what I love about mine is because I post more real stuff, like more stuff about my talents or stuff about what I do in my personal life, because I post more about that than I do just like sexy pictures or whatever. I feel like my fans feel more connected to me.
Yeah, it's relatable.
Because it's not like, you know, like the superficial, no offense, but kind of offense. Well, and I don't know, like don't get me wrong, like I love, you know, women are gorgeous, but I would like to see more from them than just the typical like booty pics scrolling through my timeline. Like, I'm not hating, I'm not saying they need to stop, because it's cool, but I would like for them to be an inspiration to people who, you know, especially young girls who are like, oh man, like, she's so pretty, I wish I could look like that, and then they feel bad because that's all they're seeing, you know? I would like people to be like, we don't actually look like this, that we're not perfect 100% of the time, you know? And there's so much more to love about yourself than your appearance, and so much more to focus on.
So let me ask you a question, because that's a good topic that you brought up. So there are a lot of girls that just do the twerking videos and, you know, model pics and whatnot. And I understand that's your business, that's cool. But when you're just trying to, like, get followers and utilizing those same methods, with those girls that are coming after you, the young ones that are looking up to you for guidance and stuff like that, or just following you and seeing that this is the standard of how I need to be, what's your takeaway from that as far as the message that's being delivered to those young girls?
Okay, well, I'm about to get deep. Can I get deep for a
Yes,
second?
please. That's what I'm waiting on.
So my actual main goal is to work in suicide prevention, and so I have a lot of sympathy for people with depression, anxiety, and who have suicidal thoughts. And so when I think about like what's being put in our minds from what we see on the internet, I'm like, everything has an effect. And, you know, I don't like seeing just like so many people depressed because of stuff they see on the internet, because of what they see that they wish they had, or what they wish they could be, what they wish they could look like. And so I think stuff like this isn't like, I mean, the suicide rates are so high, you know, and stuff like this is either like having a positive effect on you or a negative effect, like whatever you watch, whatever you put into your mind. So it's like, what am I putting out there for people to see, and like how is it affecting them, you know? No,
I agree, and it's just crazy, because it's like, you know, you got the young girls kind of emulating that image that a lot of other older women are putting out there, you know what I'm saying? And what do you think is the main reasoning for, you know, women actually putting those images out there like that? You know, because if it's your business, like if you're a model and that's what you do and you're getting paid for it, I get it, get your bread. But if you're just doing it for the clout, you know, what do you think that's all about? I mean,
first of all, you know, like I get why they're doing it. They initially do it just, you know, to get the followers, to get the guys' attention. They love attention. But at the same time, they're not getting paid per picture. Like if they're not modeling for Fashion Nova or whatever, like if they're just putting a picture just to post it, then it's like it's just attention. They're not getting paid for it or whatever.
So it's just attention. It's just like
to get
the
all
likes.
the comments and get all the likes, and you know, that's cool, but I just feel like anything should have a benefit. Like, I love posting comedy because I love making people laugh. I like making people smile. And some of my favorite comments are like, I love watching your videos. I was having such a bad day, but like I couldn't stop laughing watching your stuff. And I'm like, I love that.
Yeah,
like making people feel good, you know? Like distracting them from whatever's going on in their world for a second and just putting them in a different universe.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what's up. You have a purpose. You know, the other ones are kind of just throwing shit on the wall and seeing if it sticks.
Right.
You know, so.
Which I guess, you know, I mean, it works, you know.
If you call that work. But anyway, so that's what's up, man. So now that you're you know, reached this level of success when it comes to your skit making, you know, what are the plans going forward? You know, how do you plan to maintain the success or continue the success? You know, what's your goals?
Honestly, I mean, my goal is to have my own organization for suicide prevention.
Okay.
And that's really where I wanted to build, like, I want to build my following personally for me so I can transfer them over to that to help me support that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So how soon what's the dedeadline? How soon you plan to get that going?
Oh my gosh, I've been wanting to do that so bad, like as soon as possible, because it's anytime I see like another death by suicide, I'm like, I feel bad because I'm like, I should have started this a long time ago, you know, because you never know whose lives you can save. But I've just been, it's so hard to balance like this world, the social media, the acting, all of that, and then have any other side hustle, like anything else, and I feel like I need to have like a good balance. But I mean, I've only been out here for like 2.5 years, so I'm still trying to get the hang of balance. Because anytime my friends that are like on movies, TV shows, and have their own skits, and like they're doing all these different things, and I'm like, how do you do it? You have like a million things you're putting out there all the time. They're like, just balance, But they've been doing it for so many years, and so it's like nothing to them.
Yeah, you definitely time management is it's, you gotta really utilize that as much as you can. Like my brain is like a pie graph. You know what I'm saying? I dedicate a little bit of time to the things that are important to me, and that's how you kind of gotta live it. I mean, run your business. I consider everything I do a business. It makes me money, and it's what I love to do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I pass that information on to you, and hopefully you utilize it the right way. But
it doesn't help that I have ADD either. I could sit down. Simply just editing takes me so much longer than anybody else, because I'll edit like 2 little things, and then I'm like, oh, my dog is so cute, and then I start playing with my dog for like 20 minutes, and I'm like, oh my god, I was editing, that's right. I'm like, I'm hungry. Yeah. And it's just, my mind is all over the place. So I feel like if I could just train my brain without pills, just train my brain to focus on one thing, then I think I could manage my time.
Yeah, that's not gonna work for me, because everybody always used to tell me you should just focus on one thing and watch it pop off, and then they'll feed everything else. I was like, yeah, but I can't, because I want to do this, that, and I do this, that all the time, so I can see all of it come together, But damn, it's like when I do this one thing, like for example with this podcast, I'm solely focused on this podcast when I'm in it. Okay. But if I want to write a song, I'm solely going to focus on that. If I want to do some acting on set, I'm solely going to focus on that. So I'm managing my time accordingly, and I'm focused when I'm in those positions, but I still don't want to limit myself to just one position, because if I'm not doing this, I need to be doing this. If I'm not doing this, I need to be doing that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm constantly on the go that way.
But that's good. Yeah. I don't know how you do that. I can't focus.
I mean, it depends how important it is to you. Like this
you
podcast.
Smoke.
Well, no, I don't. Not, but this podcast is important to me, so I'm solely focused on this. I mean, I'm not like writing a song or texting. You have my undivided attention.
Yeah, that's my issue. Is like I could be editing one thing, in my mind I'm thinking about another video that I want to do. Like I'm always just thinking about like the millions of things I have to do, so I never just focus. And it's always something I want to do, but I want to do so many things. Yeah.
Well, you could do so many things for just doing one at a time. Right. That's what it's about. Like at that very moment. I mean, I guess it just works for me. Everybody, different things.
Like you just have to train your brain.
Right. I definitely did that. It took many years, but I did it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up, man. No, but I'm happy for you, man. It sounds like, you're heading in the right direction, doing the suicidal prevention stuff and the skit stuff, and using that following to come over here with it. Why is that so important to you, the suicide prevention? Did you have like any situation, with your family or something, a friend?
Well, I think what better to hear about suicide prevention than someone who's been through it, I mean, I was going to say I haven't killed myself. Obvious. Hi.
Yeah. I'm here. Yeah.
But I've been a pessimist most of my life for myself, but I'm very positive for other people, which is weird.
What do you mean pessimist? I mean, from people that don't know.
Like, I think about the worst possible things. Like, I think very negatively about anything in my life. But for other people, I'm very uplifting and motivating. But for myself, it's always been my downfall.
Why do you think that is?
I always had depression and anxiety. It's not as bad anymore, but there was a time in my life, not even that long ago, where it was really, really bad, and I was actually suicidal. Like, I had intended to do it, and I would always, like, every day I would tell myself, I'm gonna do it. And I would tell my mom all the time, and she would get so scared because she knew I could just do it at any moment. And am I allowed to go into detail about this?
Yes.
Okay.
This is your show.
It's major.
I'm just here. This is your show.
I had a pocket knife I carried around with me all the time, and I would tell people it was for my protection, but it was for myself for the day I was ready to do it. And there were so many times I would have like a panic attack, and I was like, I would have my camera out, like I'd be my phone out ready to record myself, and then I would like freak out so much, and eventually I would drop it. I was too scared. But then there was one day I just like couldn't take it anymore, because the thing about like panic attacks is it hurts you physically, not just like emotionally. And I had my phone up and I had the knife to my throat and I was like crying, like sobbing, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. And then seconds before I did it, my friend barged in the room and like grabbed it from me, and she like took me to my psychiatrist, because you know people were depressed, he's psychiatrists. And he admitted me to a mental institution. And that completely changed me, because
for the better, obviously.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely. And it's crazy because that's not a fun place to be in. Oh my God, it's horrible. Like that
Sure.
that will make you crazier. But I'm a pastor's daughter, so it kind of, you know, I was hearing his voice in my head, so that kind of helped a lot actually, because it got me to pray a lot when I was in there. And I think the thing that people don't realize is they have so much to be happy about, but any little thing that bothers them makes them feel like they have nothing. And
so it's almost like when you're up, and when you're down, you're down.
yeah, and when I was in there, the reason why I was able to come out a different person is because I thought I had nothing. And then when you're put in a box and everything you have is taken away from you, that's when you realize, oh my God, I had this, I had that, I had
You
that, and
appreciate.
now I don't, you know? Like I just started appreciating everything. And the thing about people that do commit suicide is it's a very selfish act, because you're only thinking about yourself, and I get it, you get lost in your head, but you don't think about how many people around you it affects.
Right.
And when I was about to go to the hospital, my mom was crying, and she was like, why would you try to kill yourself? Do you know if you had done that, I would have killed myself? And like just hearing those words is insane, because there's so many people that love you and care about you, that you're putting them through hell if you take your life because of how much they love and care about you, you know? And that's something that a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah, is there a reason why you felt that way? Like, were you like neglected as a child, or you know you was just feeling some type of...
I just thought I just had something wrong with my head. I was just always a sad person. Like even when I was a kid, I was 7 years old writing in my diary about like, I'm never gonna get married, nobody wants me, I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life. Like,
come on,
crazy. 7? I swear I have diary entries to prove it. Yeah, I'll be sitting outside.
No, I'm just saying at 7 you're writing this. Like,
I know. I'm sitting outside at recess like crying, and my friends are like, come on Jenny, let's go dig for worms, let's go do fun stuff like kids do. Chase butterflies. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. They're like, why? I'm like, because I'm lonely. And I don't have anybody, and I'm not gonna have a family, and like we all die at some point. Like I would think so deep.
Oh,
I don't know why.
You should have just started smoking weed. Yeah, you probably would have been. Yeah, you probably would have been cool, chill. Like, all right, let's go dig these worms.
Right. But you know, I think the best voice to people that are feeling some type of way is from someone that's been through it and made it through it, because you know, it's,
you can relate.
It's easy to just support suicide prevention and be like, hey, you know, I feel bad. But it's another thing to have survived it and to be able to tell your story so that other people can be like, well, if she got through it, then I can get through it.
Right. No, I mean, you know, I'm sorry that happened to you, but I'm glad you overcame that obstacle, because now it sounds like you're a better person. You got a story to tell, and now you can help others through your story. You know, I think you should get started on that right away. You know, I don't think you should wait. You know, I mean, at least, you know, now that you have the follow and have the draw and this attention, you should be drawing the attention to not only your skits, but some type of... I mean, there's people that do suicide prevention stuff, so you could kind of like partner with them.
Well, no, I have been. I've been working with the AFSP, which is American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
Okay.
But I want my own. So I'm like, I'm kind of iffy too about when I advertise them, because I'm like, well, hold on, I don't want to like take everyone to that side and then like...
Well, maybe you could do some type of partnership where you kind of get paid out the deal for... Well, I mean, I know it's a non-profit situation where they can kind of use your name to help build their following, so it's like helping you, you're helping them for the same cause. And, you know, because time is money at the end of the day. Regardless how much you care for the cause, you know, you utilizing your network. For
right, yeah.
You know, so, I mean, you know, it's a conversation to be had with those people. You know, I'm just kind of planting the seed, you know, and let you do your thing. But that's what's up, man. Well, I wish you much success. I see you heading in the right direction. I think that's... Suicide prevention is super dope. I personally want to invest more in the homelessness situation out here, because that is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I drive around and it's just like ridiculous. I never seen so many homeless people out here. And I try to give as many dollars as I can, but I only got so much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it'd be like that sometimes.
You gotta make sure like you're giving them something that they actually need, like food. Because sometimes I'll try to give them food, and like, no, I just want money for drugs. I'm like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you're here.
Exactly. You know, so I try to give them food, but if I got a little dollar, it's like, okay, you can't even buy a nickel bag with $1. So I'll give you $1. Hopefully you utilize it for something. But I try to give them food as much as I can, you know, because around here it's like they're all over, man. As soon as I walk out the door, I'll be like, you know, it's like 10 of them right there. I'll be like, damn, that's crazy. But it is what it is, man. But where can the people follow you? Where can the people, you know, book you for shows or be on their skits or help possibly get you to write a story for them? What?
Well, I have a website. It is jennybabas.com. It's really, really easy. And that's pretty much my handle for everything. Instagram, official Jenny Babas. The only reason official is in there is because someone took my name already. So, what else do you put in?
You gotta trademark that. ASAP.
And then YouTube, Jenny Babas. Yep. And that made it easy for you guys.
There you go. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Looking forward to working with you in the near future, man. And I wish you much success.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Sleep is for Billionaires, the podcast. I am your host, Johnny Vegas, the lovely Jenny Babas. Stay tuned for more episodes to come, and thank you for watching. And Jahan, bring your punk ass on this show, damn it. And cut. That was great. That was awesome. Where we at? 36 minutes. See, it wasn't that bad.